Today's a busy one, so I'm keeping it simple. Just 3 big meals to hit 180 grams of protein for the day. For meal number 1, I'm making my double McMuffin, which has over 50 grams of protein and takes just a couple of minutes to make. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dave Marrero, and this is my Eating My Way to 10% Body Fat Full Day of Eating series. This is where I take you through everything that I'm eating today to stay on track during my cut phase. And at the end, what I'll do is I'll share my calories and my macros for the day. If your goal is to get down to 8 to 12% body fat as well, but you're not sure what your calories or macros should be, click on the description below where you can download my free Shredder Physique calculator to find out what your calories, macros, and fiber targets should be to help you reach your goal. So let's get into meal number 1. All right, so welcome to meal number 1, which is making my double McMuffin. So I'm just gonna show you the ingredients and what else I'm also having with it. So with the double McMuffin, because I'm cutting, I would typically have 2 Dave's Killer Bread, but I'm only having 1. And again, that's because I'm managing my carbs and I wanna make sure that I'm actually having more complex carbs, more filling carbs to help me stay fuller longer. So that's why I'm only using 1. And if you see here, it's very, very simple to make. You only need a few ingredients. So I have Canadian bacon. I actually got this one at Walmart. I usually shop at Kroger, but since I was at Walmart, I found this one. So I'm gonna try this. I typically have fat-free cheese, but it wasn't available. So I got this reduced fat-free cheese. Again, I just want to make sure that I'm managing and selecting the best foods to manage the foods that I'm using to better manage my calories and macros. So I'm gonna have egg whites with it. And if you've never used a microwave egg maker, I highly recommend that you do. You don't have to use this to make, let's say, the Egg McMuffin. If you just want to hurry up and make some eggs to go, you can do that as well. Now, I do want to say when it comes to the McDonald's version of the Egg McMuffin is that I don't typically eat this all of the time, and it's just because it is calorically dense, even though it has 50 grams of protein. But I like to have this either when I am in a hurry and I need to grab something to go and make sure I have, you know, a good decent amount of protein, or today, which is I'm kind of switching things up. I've been eating kind of the same breakfast for the past 1 or 2 weeks. So this is a good way to just kind of break things up and just kind of have a different texture and flavor. So that's why I'm having that. What I do is I like to put the no sugar added ketchup, again, to help better manage my calories and macros. And to add more volume to help me stay fuller for longer, I'm gonna have some good old oatmeal. I'm gonna put some PB2 in it for some flavor. It gives it a bit more protein, but for me, I use it to give it more flavor. And some fruits, again, to add some more fiber to help bring the volume of this total meal up. So that is meal number 1, the double McMuffin. So let me go ahead and get that ready and cooking. All right, so just finished cooking meal number 1, and it really only took a couple of minutes to do. Very simple. So this is the double McMuffin, which has over 50 grams of protein in it. And what I like to do again is I like to add some ketchup give it some flavor. And once again, like I said, this isn't typically something that I eat every single day, but it's something good to do to switch things up. And it's better than going out and actually buying McDonald's because, again, this has double the amount of protein, probably even more. In fact, we have the same exact recipe on our blog. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to the description. If you want to make the exact double McMuffin here, you can make yours as well. So the total calories and macros for meal number one came out to 825 calories. And they may sound like a lot, but again, remember, I'm only eating 3 meals. So these meals are gonna be very big, voluminous and calorically heavier meals. 65 grams of protein, 93 grams of carbs, and 19 grams of fat. One last thing that I want to make note is that if you're used to eating the same foods regularly and you decide to switch things up, for an example, since I'm switching this up, and because I use more kind of already cooked stuff like the Canadian bacon, I know that it's gonna have more sodium. So when I go to weigh myself tomorrow, if the weight seems to be a little bit higher, I know that it's because of the food choices that I made, which was higher in sodium, and that retains more water. So something to make a mental note of, which is important, of tracking your calories, of tracking your macros, and knowing your sodium intake for the day. So I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up meal number one. I'm gonna eat it, and then take my babies, my dogs, Blue and Ivy, for a walk. Let's get ready to make meal number two. So today we're gonna have shrimp tacos. This is actually what I bought. So I typically like to get the wild caught, if preferably. I try not to get the farm raised, but you know, to each his own. So I get this wild caught, and I already defrosted. So what I do is the night before, I kind of put it in a container like this, and then let it defrost in the fridge so that it's ready to go. I just have to rinse it and then season it. So with the seasoning, I use this Cholula taco seasoning mix. Now, I do track this one. One thing you wanna be aware of is when it comes to seasonings, you wanna make sure that you check the back to see if there are any macros that you have to account for, because this is where, you know, your macros could kind of, and calories can kind of sneak their way in and stall progress. So I do track this. Then we are going to have some soft shell tacos to go with it, a little bit of salsa, some guac for my fat, and some bell pepper to add a bit volume and some texture to it. And with all of my meals, I kind of follow what I kind of call the big ass meal formula. So you want to eat low calorie, high volume, high protein. So along with this, I'm also going to add a big ass salad. And again, that's to add more volume, to help fill up my stomach, to help me stay full for longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready to go and show you what the final meal looks like with the calories and macros. All right, so let me show you how meal two turned out. So I have my shrimp tacos here, and I have my big ass salad here to help keep me nice and full. So the total calories for this meal came out to 650 calories, proteins 58 grams, carbs 91 grams, and fats 25 grams. So as you can see, you don't always have to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli all of the time. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but you want to be able to have the ability to create simple, tasty meals so that it's easier for you to adhere to your diet, because consistency is key to help you reach that 8 to 12% body fat range. So you can make, again, something as simple as these shrimp tacos. And I use what I call my Chipotle prep method. That means that I prep 2 to 3 protein sources, and then I'm able to swap them out and create kind of simple and tasty meals like this. That way I just don't get bored and tired of eating the same foods and same flavors all of the time. So that's it for meal number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and get the eating, and then I'll show you the final and last meal, number 3. All right, so here is meal number 3, the final meal of the day. So I already have my food already prepped. Again, I utilize what I call the Chipotle prep method. So I always have a carb source, protein sources pre-made and put in the container to allow me to have some flexibility when it comes to creating different meals, putting them together. So we're gonna do teriyaki beef and broccoli stir fry. So for my fat sources, I'm gonna use sesame seed oil and low calorie teriyaki sauce. This is the one that I use. And some gochujang, which is kind of like the Korean version of sriracha. So I'm gonna put this together, and then I'm gonna show you what the final meal looks like and the total calories and macros for meal number 3. All right, so this is meal number 3, and it took me like less than 10 minutes to make because I already had the ingredients prepped, which is great. And again, this is why I love the Chipotle prep method, because you can make your meals really simple and easy, and it kind of tastes fresh because the meals aren't kind of stored, in the fridge. So that's why I like to utilize that. So the total calories and macros for the last meal of the day came out to protein 61 grams, carbs 66 grams, fat 19 grams, and total calories was 661. So that is it for all 3 meals. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish eating, and then I'll come back and share with you the total calories and macros, and share with you my free shredded physique calculator. So stay to the end after this, and I'll share that with you. So that's it. That's the full day of eating with 3 meals. So let me share with you what the total calories and macros were. The total calories for today was 2,136. The total protein was 184 grams. Total carbs, 250 grams. Total fat, 63 grams. And total sodium was 5,886. So that's about double of what I normally consume. And the reason why I'm bring this up, because like I said earlier, because I know that I changed some of my meals around, that my sodium intake may have increased. So when I go to weigh myself tomorrow, I may weigh in a little bit heavier, but I know the reasoning why, so I don't have to freak out or panic and make any unnecessary adjustments. I know it's because of my increased sodium intake. So lastly, again, if you are in the process of going through your cut phase, or you're gonna start your cut phase and you wanna start your fat loss process, and you don't yet know what your calories and macros are for shredding, that is why I created my free Shredded Physique calculator, where it does the math for you. So you don't have to do the math. And I explain exactly how it calculates your calories and macros so that you can educate yourself and understand how these numbers are calculated based on your personal information. So if you're interested in that, click the link below and I'll shoot that over to you. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next series.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. I should have said episode.